Hey everybody. As promised, I'm going to work through one of the problems, one of the projects in Module 4. Module 4 is all about charts and graphs, which, I'm really good at Excel, been doing it for many years. Uh, I've never been that great at charts and graphs. I just didn't do a whole lot of charts and graphs in my job as an accountant. I was in the tax practice and we just didn't do a lot of charts and graphs. But in your job, I can see you possibly doing charts and graphs like this. Let's say you want to do a report for your boss on your company's performance over the last 4 years, 5 years. And, you present your boss with these numbers, and it's like, okay, this, it's a lot of numbers. Isn't it so much more meaningful when you can present a pie chart like this and you can see that this company, which I believe is a medical center, you can see that a large part of their revenue is from EMS, and a rather small portion is neurology and coronary care. So these are charts and graphs make your data more meaningful. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go in. This is the Capstone, uh, the Critical Thinking Capstone Project 1C, or I think I've called it 4C in Blackboard. I renamed it for you. So let's just get started. I did go through this myself before just to make sure I knew what I was doing because I'm not, like I said, I'm not that great at charts and graphs. And there are some tricky things in here, things I had to do some trial and error with. But now that I've worked through it, I think I'm prepared to walk you through this. So I'm just going to go through the instructions, and I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks, how to read the instructions, how to interpret, um, and basically my workflow, and hopefully it will help you. So this is covering all the concepts in modules 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's a really nice review for us. A couple of you have already done the other project in this module, and so far the grades are all 100. So maybe you guys are better at charts and graphs than I am. Anyway, let's get going here. Downloaded the file. This is what the start file is going to look like for you. So Carmen is an executive consultant at the medical center, making a workbook that summarizes income and expenses to organization. Change the theme of the workbook to office. So it doesn't matter what sheet you're on. Just go up here under page layout, under themes, and it says to change it to office. That's the first one right here. And I'm going to continually scroll down to what things are supposed to look like. I can see everything turn blue. If you pick the wrong thing, it might be yellow, but the office theme, it should look blue like this. All right, so what's the next step? Let's get going here. I'm trying to keep this under 30 minutes. Switch to the departments worksheet, which contains a header and several tables that need to be completed and formatted. Column C through H could use a bit more room. Change the width of column C through H to 12. So go up here where the headers are and take your mouse and just kind of highlight C through what? H. And you can right click up on one of these letters, column width, it's at 10. So if you type 12 and hit enter, it expands them to a width of 12. Change the height of the first row to 21 points. This is the first row. So highlight the first row, right click, row height, 21, enter. What? 21, enter. So it's a little taller now. Merge and center the contents of the second row to match the merged range in the first row. Oh, they want this to be merged over this range, I suppose. So you'll swipe all that and just under home do merge and center. Okay, if you make your window wider, you can see all the things, and this is merge and center. So it centered it, merged it. Format the newly merged range using 40% accent 5 cell style. Let's move this over a little bit. Format the newly merged range. Format this using 40% accent 5. I guess we're going to go under font. Wait a minute. I saw this earlier. I promise I did go through this. I think it's under home. Yes. Yeah, there's cell styles right here. It's under styles. If it had been a snake, it would have bit me. Oh, I forgot. 40% accent 5. 40% accent 5. 40% accent 5. I don't know what the little two's doing there, but that's the one they want. Bold formatting and 14 point. So bold, the little B there, and change that to 14. That's looking better. I always like to click away when I'm done doing something so I can see how it looks. All right, number 6. The first few headings of the staff table need to be entered. Enter the data shown. All right, so these 4 columns, A, B, C, D, E, they need to be filled in. Let's shrink this back so I can see everything. And it's important that you use proper capitalization and spelling, of course, because it might not give you credit if you misspell or if you don't capitalize the first letter. Department, MD, RN, registered nurse, and support. All right, center the headers and change the font to 11 point. Center the headers, center these. So swipe all that, click this little thing here. The second one, see how it says center there. Center, it's kind of bleeding over. Maybe we'll fix that in a second. Change the background color to 1 shade darker than the subtitle in the second row. So I want 1 shade darker than that. What the heck is that? I guess click on here, click it into your paint bucket. And apparently, as you can see, it is this color. So it's I just second row from the right, this second one down. That's what it currently is. Now, we want this to be 1 shade darker. So I'm going to go here, go to my blue. That's what the other row was. I'm going to go down 1 more, make it a shade darker. Too many colors on here for my taste, but and then wrap the text. So highlight these, make sure they're all highlighted, and click wrap text. Again, I can't see. Wrap text. It's under alignment. There, that's better. All right, where am I? Okay. I'm on step 8 now. From the CCU abbreviation, there, to the end of the table, including the total row. To the end of the table, including the total row. So swipe all that so it's darkened. Add a white, I can't read this. Add a white background 1 border to all sides of each cell. This had me scratching my head. Fortunately, I am prepared now. All right, I want to add a white background 1 border. All right, so that's under borders, which is under font in this little border thing. I want it to be a white border, so I'm not going to select any of these because it's going to be a black border. But if you go under more borders and do the border thingy there, and the color needs to be white, which is that. And it needs to be all sides of each cell. So it's that and that. I think this will do it. Yes. See how the borders are now white? That looks nice. I never did this when I was working at Ernst & Young. I didn't even know that capability was there. All right, add a thin top border to the total row. Total row. Including the abbreviation column. So this row here, including the abbreviation column, I want a thin top border. For this, you can just click this and top border because it will be thin. See how thin that is? All right. Number 10, format the last three columns of the staff table data. Format the last three columns. Not including the total row. Last three, not including the total. Display the turnover percentage as a percentage with no decimal places. Well, that's not a number, so they don't mean to do this. So just the actual numbers. See, that's already a percent. This one needs to be a percentage with no decimals. That's just a percent button here, and it defaults to no decimals there. So that's good. Use a conditional formatting rule to highlight departments with a turnover rate greater than 24%. Conditional turnover rate. Okay. Oh, this is the turnover rate. So I want these things here. Not that, right? Not that. I want to highlight all departments with a turnover rate. Well, this isn't a department, is it? This is the total. See, I want to see which departments are not doing so good with turnover. People are quitting because they're not happy. I want to know which ones are bad. So turnover rate. So what I do is go here and go to conditional formatting. Highlight cells greater than 20. Well, that's weird. It's already there. If it's not, just type 24% there. And I guess that's the default. So just hit OK. All right, we're going to have to go have a talk with the emergency department and the oncology department because they have a lot of employee turnover. So that's why they're in red. Okay, and we're on number 11. Use conditional formatting rule to add a solid orange data bar. I've never done this in my life. To the data for the 2024 budget. Here's the 2024 budget. Doesn't say what criteria. Okay. Well, let's just do it. So conditional formatting, data bars. There we go. And it says gradient or solid. It says solid orange. Solid. There's orange. Okay. Yeah, and do not include the total row. Obviously, that'll be the biggest because it's the total. So it looks like the budget, the biggest budget is for EMR emergency. And then these have big budgets. This has a tiny budget. So see what this is good because you can just easily spot with your eye. Oh man, they have the biggest budget. 12. Finish by adding conditional formatting rules to the change from 23. That's this column. So I've highlighted them. That highlights the top and bottom 10% of values. Top 10% of values. Okay, so this one is a little tricky. You'll go into, again, conditional formatting. Top and bottom rules. Notice there's no top and bottom. And I tried more rules, but this is format only top or bottom, and we want top and bottom. So I went down this rabbit hole and I did all these weird things. It didn't work. So let me just tell you, you need to go under conditional formatting, top and bottom rules, and let's do top 10% first. We'll do the other one later. But for top 10%, we want it to be green fill with dark green text. Green fill with dark green text and top 10%. So it's already set that way. So the top 10% is that, I guess. And we want the bottom 10% to be So highlight them all again, conditional formatting, top bottom rules. We'll do bottom 10% and we'll do light red fill, dark bottom 10%. So click OK. So there you have it. They're the worst. They're the best. Okay. Every every step I go and look and just make sure that it still looks like it's supposed to look. And I got some pink there. I got some orange bars. I got green there, red there. Numbers are the same. Good. We're in good shape. Keep checking the pictures. Okay, we are on number 13, the department summary table. That's this. The department summary table should look up the department abbreviation and return. This is the trickiest part of the project. So listen up. These people that to begin, next to the cell listed as department here, use a function to search the staff table, not including the total row or headings, and return or bring back the department name based on the abbreviation. Okay, this is like when I was talking about your dog, sending your dog to go look for something and bring back something. This is called a VLOOKUP formula. Well, let me tell you how this is going to go. I usually do the FX button here. And I have most recently used the VLOOKUP formula, but if you haven't, you can just go under lookup and reference, or you can just type VLOOKUP here. And I don't know. Anyway, it's down here. VLOOKUP. All right. What are we going to go send our dog to look for? Okay, so the dog is going to go to this column and look up whatever's here. So the lookup value is whatever is there. All right. And where is it going to look? So be sure you click here in the next window. Where in what yard or table array is the dog going to go look? He's going to look in this range. Yeah. Now it's eventually going to have to do the change all the way over here. So just go ahead and select the whole table, but not the headings or the total. Just going to look there. So what's going to do is going to look here for M6, for ICU. It will always look in the leftmost column that you've selected. So you must select this as well. Don't just select this. It's going to look in the leftmost column for ICU. When it finds it, you want to tell it to look to which column to display what? The department. For here, I'm going to type 2 because it's going to bring back, fetch whatever's in the second column. And for this, just type false. That's what my boss told me. Just type false. He didn't tell me why. Now, before I hit OK, just note that it will tell you right here what the result of the formula is, intensive care. Is that correct? If that's not correct, then you've done something wrong in your formula. It would say error, maybe. Is the department of ICU really called intensive care? Well, look over here. Yes. So this formula is working. But before you hit OK, think about this. We are going to copy this down using the fill handle. And remember what we learned last time about absolute values using the $sign. As I copy this formula down, I want it to look up the MD, the RN, all for the ICU. So as I drag the formula down, I want to make sure it stays on row 6, as I drag down. We won't be dragging across, but I don't guess it hurts to put the $sign there. I don't know. Maybe Sam will count off if you do. I don't know. I'll just leave it out for now because as I drag down, I want it to always look up whatever's in here. Even for turnover, I want to look up this. As well, as I drag down, I want it to always reference this table array. I don't want it to go this table array as I drag down. So I've got to freeze this table, and I'm just going to do all of it because it's fun. So put your $ in front of the A, in front of the 6, in front of the J, and in front of the 13. Now we're in good shape. Hit OK. Now here is something you're going to have to really pay attention to, because what I did first was I copied it down. And of course it says intensive care, intensive care, intensive care, intensive care. But that's because it's a 2 here. For the MD, I want it to read the third column to bring back what's in the third column. So now it says 17 because the MD is 17. And for this one, I guess we'll keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now there's a problem. 8, 9. Look what's happened. Something's wrong. 10. Okay, these are the right values. 0.023, for example, for ICU, but it should be formatted as a percent. The mistake I made, and this is what I did the first time, is I didn't fill without formatting. So I'm going to back up, hit Control Z repeatedly. And before I copy it down, let me show you something. So I'm going to use a fill handle, drag it down. You get a little pop-up here with a drop-down arrow. Be sure you do fill without formatting. What that's going to do is preserve the formatting that they have already got in here for you. Because when I drug this down, it drug text formatting, text formatting, text formatting, text formatting. But we don't want to, we want to fill without the formatting changes. So now I can go, look what happens. 3, 4, 5. Be careful lest you make a mistake. 6, 7, 8. See that? 9, 10. Okay. Notice how it's still as formatted as a percent with the $ percent. That wasn't that way before. So be sure you do fill without formatting, people. All right. So that's done, I believe. Okay. Copy the formula down to complete the summary and edit the copy to return the values. Yeah. Okay. So that's done. In the appropriate cell below the staff table, I guess there, use a function to display the current date without the time. Well, that's just equals today. T-O-D-A-Y. T-O-D-A-Y. Open and close parentheses. Enter. It's not showing the time. I guess that looks good. Number 16, the averages will not be needed, so delete column O. Now be careful. They didn't say clear this stuff. They said delete the entire column. So click on the column letter and right click and select delete. That will just delete the whole column. Be careful if you do this in real life. You may have some data down here in that column that you didn't mean to delete, but here they asked you to do that. The date for the next update isn't certain, so hide, not delete, but hide row 18. Row 18, right click, hide. I'm not a big fan of hiding rows. You might forget that you hit it, unless you look, it says 17, 19. Anyway, we just do what they tell us to. Number 18, switch to the budget worksheet. Oh boy, we're doing graphs now. Charts and graphs. Which contains the department budgets from last few years. There's already a pie chart right there showing the 2021 budget information, which is all that stuff. Notice the pie chart, so we didn't include the total. If we did, it would say, yes, the total department is that. That's more than half of it, anything else. No, we want to show a pie. What proportion of the total is coronary, emergency, endocrinology, intensive care, etc. So you don't include the total row. What we want to do is create a 2D pie chart based on the data. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put, they want it to be, the chart will cover the range H4. I'm gonna go ahead and click on cell H4 right now. So it'll put the chart there when I'm done. I think it will. And this chart will be based on the data in the department and 2025 columns. So I want to highlight the data now, not the total row and not the department name, and also the 2025. So hold down the control key and highlight this as well, only down to there, and release your mouse clicker and release the control key. So now you've got both highlighted. And we just want to create a chart. Use the third chart style. All right. So we go into insert. There's your pies right there. 2D. There's only 3 options. If you click more pie charts, oh wow, there's 5 options. Big deal. Donut. I think this is just the one we want. We don't want a plate or orbits or donuts. That's what we want. So just hit OK. And we want to go ahead and it didn't go where I wanted it to. We want it to cover H4 to O22, H4. I kind of want it to be on this on the line with the other chart, H4. So scooch that in, H4 to O22. Where's 22? Oh my gosh, it's hard to see. I think it's down to there. Yeah. And I'm bringing it in a little bit so it matches this. Okay. Use 2025 budget by department as a chart. So just click in here and just kind of like make your cursor in there and kind of just edit this to say 2025 budget. And again, they didn't capitalize the B and buy, but they did capitalize the B and the D there. So once you got that, click away. All right, so that's good. The pie chart. I'm going to go down to the picture and see if it looks the way it's supposed to look. These should be on the right. This is in the bottom. Is it because it's too, I don't know. Oh, it needs to be the third. Okay, here we go. They told you up in these instructions, I skipped that step. See, that's what happens to everybody. We skip steps. It says here, use the third chart style. That's over here. Okay, that's more what it's supposed to look like in the instructions. I think it's exactly what it's supposed to look like. I got your little numbers in here, got your earth tone colors, your legends over here. The heading looks good. Yeah, this chart's looking really good. I think that's all we have to do. Okay, that's step 8 is done, I believe. Step 19, the pie chart for 2021 now needs to be changed. Format this chart the same way as the 2025 chart. I had a little trouble with this. So I'm glad I went through this ahead of time. What we can see is it looks pretty much the same. Let's click there. Okay, yeah, first we want to select the third chart style like before. And even still, it's almost the same, but there's words in here and there's no words in here. This looks better because the percent's here and the color coordinates to radiology. We don't have to say radiology here. Plus, it looks too cluttered. I had some trouble with this. What I figured out we need to do is just click on one of these little squares. So all the squares, little borders appear around them, and then right click. Oh my gosh, I think I forgot again. Oh, was it format data labels? Yes. The label contains the value. We need to uncheck this. The labels don't need to include these words up here. So uncheck that. But it does need to show the percentage. I don't even know what that means, but just leave it checked. Trust me. And yeah, it didn't change. Did it work? Okay, it didn't work. It worked last time. Format data labels. Oh, here we go. I think you have to go back in because now we have this button. Reset label text. There we go. X out of that. I think we're good in good shape. So click away so you can see how it looks. I think it looks pretty good. The boxes are kind of big, aren't they? Is that the way it looks? I don't know. It might count off for this. Why are the boxes so darn big? Reset to match style. Oh, look at that. I don't know what I just did, but I just clicked reset to match style. Okay, I just happened upon that. Guys, you have my sympathy. This is pretty hard. Where were we? That's done. Um, okay. Let's see. I think we're on note 20. The departmental budget comparison combo chart needs to be. This was hard. I struggled with this too. Change the, so on this one, and when you click in here, you notice sometimes you click and it highlights all kind of things. Just make sure you're in here, but not in there, in here. So when you're in here, like I'm clicked away, you click in there and it's just the whole thing. But you can also click in individual thingies, and that's the tricky part. We want to, this, oh boy, I hope I can remember. So click away, click back in, make sure you're in the whole thing. I think this is how I did it. We want to change the minimum bounds of the right vertical axis to 40 million. So see how it, and again, I had to look down here to see what the heck they're talking about. It's hard to see, but I did blow it up and I saw that the top is 85 million, but the bottom goes down to 40 million, but this bottom only goes down to 60 million. So I need to just make it go from 85 to 60 million. So to do that, I'm in here, the whole thing selected. I go under, you'll have chart design and format. I don't think it's under format. Formatting is like the cosmetics of it. Chart design. Mm-hmm. Quick layout. No. Add chart elements. Um, and what you need to do is actually, again, click away, click in here, and then I guess you got to click on one of these numbers so that this box goes around. Then you're going to right click in this box. And we're going to do, hmm, I had to pause it to look. This is really tricky. You just have to keep trying. I click in here, right click. Okay, format axis. You should see format axis. If you don't, just keep trying. You're clicking on the wrong thing. It's just really tricky. So in this, right click, format axis, and it says the bounds of this axis that's highlighted, right? The minimum, instead of being 6 million, so this means 6 to the 7th power, which is like million. So instead of 6 million, it needs to be 4 million. So just change that. And I think we can just get out of it. All right, bingo. See, it's going from 85 to 40. That was tricky. Done though. And then add axis titles. This was also tricky. Axis titles. Add chart element. Again, make sure you clicked in the whole thing. So click away, click in, not any one part of it. Make sure, so add chart element, axis titles. The primary, gosh, so up and down is vertical, right? primary vertical. Oh, so left side, I guess, is primary. So the left side should be what? So this should be department budgets. So just click in there, move your cursor around, backspace, department budgets. Budgets or budget? Budgets. And click away. There, that's that. And then click back in, add chart element, chart axis titles rather, secondary vertical. That's over here. This is, I guess, the right side is the secondary side. And then move your cursor, get rid of that stuff. And we want to call this total budget. And click away. Okay, that's good. All right. Wait, and remove the horizontal axis title. What's the horizontal axis title? I don't see a horizontal axis title. Do you? Let's go to our trusty picture. I've got that stuff. I've got the years. I've got that. Departmental budget comparison. Okay. I've got those and that. Okay, I don't see any difference. Guys, just let me know if it marks you wrong for this, because I don't even know what horizontal axis title is. This is horizontal axis. This is the horizontal axis right here, but I don't think there is a title. Maybe it's not showing up. Control Z. I mean, unless they don't want to get rid of this because I saw that in the picture. Yeah. I don't know. Let's leave it alone. Apply a shape fill to the chart using blue accent. I guess because you look at this chart, it's got a blue background and this is a white background. I'm just going to try to right click. I don't see anything there. Maybe go up here under format. Would it be, it says shape outline, right? Apply shape fill. There we go. And we want blue accent 5, lighter 80. Blue. This is blue. Accent 5, lighter 80. See how that's 60, 40. This is 80. There we go. That looks good. The hiring worksheet won't be needed. Deleted. Okay. Again, whenever you're done, just click away from the chart. You don't want to accidentally be typing and accidentally change something in your chart. It's always best to click out of your chart when you're not actually using it. And it says delete the hiring worksheet. Click on it and then right click down here in the sheet name. You can just do delete sheet. And it asks you, are you sure? That's done. Your workbook should let the final figures. Save your changes, close the workbook, exit Excel, follow the instructions. Yeah, just submit it like normal. Let me know if you miss anything. I would just take another quick look. Little things like the formatting of these. You can see very well how they're formatted here. If it ain't the same, you've done something wrong. So again, as an accountant, when you finish a spreadsheet, before you send it to your boss, a couple of things you need to keep in mind. Don't send your boss anything after 10, 11 at night, because your boss is going to think you were tired. There's going to be mistakes in here. Wait till the morning to send it. Second of all, take a look at what you've done. Does it make sense? Is this some data that you would feel comfortable giving your boss? And of course, be sure you understand the data you're giving them, because they may ask you to explain it. All right, I think that's all I have for you tonight. Thanks very much, and hope you'll have a great night or day.